Okay. Looks like I'm back to animation for today, just to kind of finish up the attack recoveries. And once I get that done, shift back to Unreal to plug all this stuff in. Oh, geez, I didn't even break it up yet. Okay. It's fine. Hey, Samantha. How you doing? Trying to make your physics work in animation. Yeah, physics can always be a bit of a pain in the butt, especially because there's so many different little settings and little things that you can tweak. I'm doing great. I'm just shifting back to some animation today, just because I finished the basic equipment and well, the basic equipment functionality is working. It's still buggy, but it's working. But just to kind of just switch things up, because it's I had a couple of frustrating days. So I got it working though. I eventually got it working, but I'm switching back to animation just because my brother is working on combo stuff, and I want to make sure the player can now do some attack animations, just so that my brother can test out all the algorithms for damage and stuff. Yeah, definitely made some progress. Not without it. It didn't come without some significant frustration, but you know, it comes part and parcel to not knowing Unreal as well as I want to, and then trying to make a fairly complicated game. The nice thing is I think we're approaching it the right way in that we are we're building systems. We're not building a game per se yet. We're just doing systems. So an inventory system is natural for most RPGs. So, we can build the game afterwards. So we're thinking about enemies right now, and I'm playing with the idea of maybe what we do is we convert the idea to like a zombie survival in a medieval setting. Yeah. So the nice thing is we haven't defined the game yet in terms of like, we know it's going to be an RPG. We know we want survival crafting, but we had never locked down the kind of like enemies that we want to fight. We always played with ideas of an RPG, more RPG, classic RPG, killing orcs and monsters and dragons and stuff like that. Or, the alternative is we do like a zombie game, and zombies, at least we now have like an excuse to kind of just build one type of enemy. We have some variety of zombies, but for the most part, it's just basically one type of enemy. And the real friction in the game will come in just the swarm sizes. Because we're working in low poly, I'm not too worried about drawing everything. As far as the entire game is concerned right now, as it stands right now, for all character assets, we're pretty much using one single material. It's a texture atlas with I can actually show you. So if I go... Yeah, basically, we're just using this as a texture atlas for... So we basically just drop it onto the color, and we can actually shift this entire palette. So if we want, we can use a different color scheme, as long as it's works within proper color theory, or we follow the basic color theory rules. The shift should be really, really simple. I just have to shift the palette, and I get a whole new color scheme. Yeah, it's coming along. We want to try to stay as modular as possible so that we can make shifts if we need to. Okay, so... Yeah, we did a little bit of research in terms of just how to approach this stuff. Yeah, so optimization was something that we were thinking about. I mean, we don't have to think too hard in terms of like the graphics, because we're going on a low poly style just because it's faster to model and texture. Just because it's just me. I'm the only one that's doing the artwork. So we need a way that's going to be able to get fast iteration and be able to kind of, and realistically, if I wanted to design, I'd probably design a full character, modeled, rigged, textured, in probably a week, as opposed to the other way we were working on the other project. On this other project, it would take me about a month to model texture and rig a character, and that's just too long for what we're trying to do. Yeah, I mean, even a week is still quite a bit. So we've actually went and purchased a bunch of the Cinti assets. So what you're actually seeing, some of these are Cinti assets, and our own custom stuff too. So we're kind of taking that as a baseline, and this way we have this kind of structure that we can kind of work with when we build our assets. So like potions and stuff, that we're just going to take that from Cinti, because we've purchased the license now. So, and then what we're going to do with characters is we're going to do original characters. So biomes and items, some items, not all items, are going to be from the Cinti assets. And then characters, rigs and characters, that will be from our kind of custom assets. Yes, SYNTY. If you check that out, synty.com, I think. They're basically it's like a prefab, like they're just pre-made assets that are lined with like low poly style. So we picked them because we're like, well, we want to do low poly because this is going to be a little bit faster for us to model and animate it, get all the assets completed. So, and it was easy for me to kind of mimic that style, so I could expand with custom assets. So we have lots of assets to work with, but we still want our own custom ones. So. Be too long. Sorry, I'm just working out some timing right now. So right now I'm breaking up all this. So here, I'll show you the attack animation. So this is the attack animation we have right now. The combo, but each of these needs to be broken out into steps. So after the first jab, I then have to recover. So basically you have stabbed here, the jab here, and then between from here to here, the player needs an opportunity. We're giving the player an opportunity to continue the combo, but if they don't push the button, you don't want the animation to continue as it is. So basically I'm breaking out into pieces of animation. So there's the attack, the initial attack, and then the recovery from the attack, so that you can give the option to the player to not combo if they don't want to. Yes, getting assets to cohesively mesh. I mean, that's kind of really art direction, right? So either you create your own assets right from the ground up, but that's a tremendous amount of work, a tremendous amount of work, right? In terms of like having the foresight to have to create a cohesive design style across thousands of assets it's a monumental task. Um, not that you require designers, right? It requires concept artists in order to pull that kind of stuff off. And um, the reason you want to do concepting is because you want it down, somebody to be able to draw it all first before you convert it to the asset, because that's the big time sink, is the actual, when you actually convert it to a 3D asset. So hopefully somebody can, because I know painters and concept artists that can whip out several character concepts a day. So having that advantage and being able to visualize it beforehand is a huge thing, but you need to be able to do that across the entire spectrum of assets, right? That includes right down to, well, what does the grass look like? So it was just too much work for two people to do with any sense of real cohesion, especially because I'm not an art director. My background is in animation. I'm endeavoring into more art and looking at looking at the production holistically, so almost like art direction. But you know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of studying. You know, it's a lot of expertise, and trying to do that on top of learning Unreal from the ground up and blueprints and how to operate and navigate through different things in Unreal, as well as I switched from I was originally using Maya, and then I've switched over to Blender. So learning Blender, it's been a process that I started basically back in 2019, right at the end of 2019 when the pandemic was announced. Good old coronavirus. Yeah, so that was basically how I spent the entire pandemic, was learning Blender and migrating my skills from Maya to Blender. Attack and recovery are separate. Yes. The only reason it's separate is because it triggers. It gives it an opportunity to trigger the next animation before the recovery starts. So if you don't push the button, then the recovery starts, basically, right? So I'm so sorry you had to use Maya. Yeah, it's the industry standard professional tool. So I luckily didn't have to pay for a license myself. Every studio that I work for, they pay for the license. Their license is covered. So, but as a personal tool, I would never pay $200 a month, pretty much for anything. That isn't like car insurance. You know what I mean? Or like my mortgage. Like $200 a month is a lot. It's a big ask for software. So Blender, at no point are they ever going to ask me for money because it's built into the open source licensing. So I don't have to worry about it, right? So it just doesn't cost me anything. Yes, and then there's the whole ecosystem that Autodesk provides, right? Because you can't just use Maya. You know, like you're never gonna just use Maya, unfortunately. So I don't mind if I gotta purchase a secondary piece of software like Substance Painter or something like that. But because at least I can get a perpetual license for that. Like I can just buy that one version. Whereas like Maya, you have to subscribe to it. So that's just spending $200 a month, especially when I'm not working. That's ridiculous. Which is really sad, because I think if they had some kind of like education, they used to have like an education version of Maya, and it would at least kept people in there. So if I do the conversion, 10 frames at 30 frames a second, when I'm running it at 60 frames, it's going to be 20 frames. So that gives the player a 20 frame window to hit a 20 frame window, which is 1/3 of a second. Should be enough. Guess we'll find out. Yeah, one of the biggest reasons I decided to, like, I actively avoid Maya in my own personal work is because they've got some weird licensing stuff. Like, obviously they're not going to enforce it in the way that I think that you could potentially, but I mean, it just opens the door for them to be allowed to be able to basically claim your work if you use their software. And I'm not a fan of that. I think it's just a terrible way to kind of treat customers, right? Like, it's your own creative work, but yeah, I don't know exactly what the stipulations and stuff like that, so I might be speaking out of turn here. But from my understanding, there are potential issues with licensing in Maya if you Yep. I did mention Substance Painter. I use Substance Painter to paint my models. Oh, what did you find that's a good alternative to it? Is it free? I will always explore a free alternative. I was using YouTube Paint inside Blender. I tried it and it's not there yet. It's just not there yet. Instamat. I will check it out. Yeah, I haven't done Designer yet, but Designer is incredibly powerful. And I will take a look at that. Instamat. Let me record that. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, most comprehensive software, like in Maya, all I was really doing in Maya was animating, right? So there's about, it's the 80-20 rule, right? I use about 20% of the software to do 80% of everything I need to do. I love animating hand. Are you talking about animating by hand or the actual hand animation? I love animating hands. Hands can be the most expressive part of the body. So I don't know what your kind of animation you're aiming for, but hands can be so expressive, and yes, the actual hand and finger animation. Yeah, I love that's one of my favorite things to animate is hands and fingers. Just because they're so expressive, and you can be really, really gestural with them, because your hands do all sorts of crazy things, like also and feet. So I got really into animating feet for no particular reason, other than I was watching some shots in Toy Story, and because I remember I was watching some of my animation, and I was looking at it and thinking the feet feel really, really stiff. And the reality is your feet slide around a lot. All right, a lot. I think when you're a younger animator, your first thought is that you plant your feet, and that's how you structurally are planted to the ground, so they shouldn't really move around that much. But you shift your weight, and just these little tiny weight shifts, all right, you will cause your feet to want to readjust the position to accommodate the weight shift and stuff. So it's the feet are very active, and I've had a lot of fun over the last couple of years. Not last couple of years, I did this a while back, but once I kind of started learning how my animations just started feeling a little bit more alive, just because and I think as an animator, you also start thinking to yourself, oh, there's going to be a lot of work to do this thing. And it's no more work than animating anything else, right? So it's just that, yes, this particular piece has now taken you a long time, but you know, if you don't enjoy the process, you're probably not going to enjoy whatever you put out at the end, right? So I've just learned ways to embrace moments within the creative process that I didn't typically like before, and I just learned to embrace the suck by actually focusing on it, right? And saying, okay, well, I don't like doing this, and there must be a reason I don't like doing this. Oh, it's because it's because I've never really observed it before. And for hands and feet, that was the big thing for me, is I just never really observed it enough, even though I used references, and it's just, I never really took the time to do the observation necessary to really kind of get my hands and feet to a point, until there was a shot in Toy Story, I think it was Toy Story 3. It's where Woody is sneaking around he's sneaking around the play school, the preschool, and he's in the bathroom, and there's this little scene where he hides up against the stall, and you see his feet shuffle, and you just see how active his feet. Now the scene calls for more activity in him, but what I just loved how the animator captured all these beautiful little nuances, right? Like my favorite moment in that is he's climbing up the toilet paper roll, because he's in the bathroom stall, and he climbs up the toilet paper roll, and it starts to unravel, but he's able to move a little bit faster and grab onto a static hold. And then you see, as he's about to reach over and climb up onto the toilet, he rips off a piece of toilet paper, puts it onto the toilet seat, and it's the way he puts his hand just to make sure that it's flat against the toilet seat before he actually climbs onto it. I thought that was like, oh, that's that's an animator's moment. That's the stuff I really love to animate, right? It's when there's no dialogue and you have just this one moment that sells the idiosyncrasy of that character, right? He doesn't want to touch a dirty toilet seat, and he does this really kind of like elegant lay down of a one square of toilet paper on the toilet seat. That for me, that's animation gold. Right? No dialogue, it's pure pantomime, right? You tell that you communicate everything about that character in this simple gesture, but it all comes out in the timing and the expressiveness of the hands. It's the way he places his hands down and pushes the whole piece of toilet paper flat. It was just brilliant. It's just brilliant. If you go look it up on YouTube, if you go look it up on YouTube, you'll see it. You'll have a good laugh because it's such a funny scene. It's straight out of your, it's like we took what Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin did, and we've found all the new little nuances that are available to us to act purely with pantomime, with no dialogue that drives it. Yeah, one of the things that I used to do, I don't know how much you enjoy drawing, but I find drawing helps. Um, Drawing hands is difficult, but there's a pattern to it, right? So let me see here. I'm gonna pull up my grease pencil. So what I like to do is there's a very specific pattern that I like to use when I draw hands, right? So I kind of just draw like a little cube here, right? You can actually probably bulge the cube instead, right? So so you do like a little inner bend, and then another little piece, a little wedge comes out of that, and then you just throw in another shape there, right? And then there's like a tapering shape that you can kind of always follow. Oops. Right? So the hand likes to kind of like to be like, you can kind of get these, like thinking of it as a whole shape as opposed to like a single finger comes out this way, right? Or, you know, and it's easier to kind of just draw that shape from any position. Because your fingers always kind of taper, right? They kind of stagger the shape, right? So you're always kind of like looking at it in a way that the fingers kind of have this rainbowing kind of flowering effect, right? So even when you have the hand completely open too, right? So if you have the hand completely open, you're gonna have this kind of flowering effect. Oops, right? So you get this arc in the fingers there, right? And you can kind of just quickly draw that shape in, and you get hands, and you can kind of start practicing hand shapes. They don't have to be the best drawings in the world, right? They just kind of have to get your brain thinking about hand shapes, because if you start animating pieces, you're going to run into problems, right? You want to think of the hand as a whole shape. You're welcome. Yeah, I think that the secret to great animation is to think about shape animation, right? Let more about the shape of the animation versus like I'm moving arms and legs and stuff like that. Just because you can get caught up thinking about all those little fundamental anatomical things, and while they are important, you'll find lots of animation that doesn't follow anatomical rules that still look great, right? Because they understand what the shapes that are transitioning, the basic fundamental shapes of animation, which is the C shape, the S shape, a straight line, and then reversing all of that. So reverse S and a reverse C shape. Those are basically all of the shapes that you'll ever need to animate something, right? To give you the sense of movement, to give you the sense of overlapping movement. I think people think animation is really, really complicated, but really I'm just breaking the whole body down into small S shapes and C shapes and understanding when those shapes need to take over. Using straight lines, for example, is really, really good for showing weight, right? In the leg here, right? So I'm looking at the leg here. I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be bearing weight because it's shifting back. I need to bring the character back. So I need to shift all of the weight to the left of the frame here, or to the right side of the body, right? So it can still feel in balance. And then everything needs to counter back. Right? Just to make it feel balanced. But you should be, I mean, slightly off balance because we are in the middle of a walk, right? So there should be some balancing stuff here, and this leg is going to be back here a little bit. Put that marker. Right, some people like to roll up on the ball at this point, which you can. So here we can roll the ball of the foot here, just a smidge. Oh, no, is that the one I wanted? So sometimes you roll the ball just a little bit here, just to give it a little bit extra push. Yes, so the simple way to find center of gravity is draw a line right from the pit of your neck, right where your collarbones meet, okay? And then you hang a plumb line directly down below, straight down to your feet, to the ground, okay? If that plumb line goes past your feet, you're off balance. That plumb line has to stay between your feet. As long as you're between your feet, you're balanced. If you're not between your feet, you're imbalanced. But that's not to say you want all your poses balanced, right? That's just a quick way to tell the audience that you're in balance or out of balance, right? It's a very subtle trick when you're doing life drawing and stuff like that, just to shift the collarbone, just to shift the shoulders off. If you want more movement, you push it just past the feet, right? You give the pose a sense of movement purely by establishing relationships of all the major forms of the body, and you can get a sense of energy right away. So here I want to break the timing a little bit more, stagger his, just look a little bit nicer, slow down all this rotation. Yeah, it's a life drawing trick that you pick. It's a trick you pick up if you're going to do some life drawing. I think if you really want to do some animation, it helps you study posing by doing some life drawing. That's life drawing is the nude model. Going and taking life drawing classes. Most art schools that I know offer open life drawing, so that you can go in as not an enrolled student, and you can take open life drawing classes. I don't know if that is the case in Austria, but I mean, I imagine it would. You guys have some pretty important, historically speaking, artists. So I imagine the tradition of art is very much alive in Austria. The traditional foundations, at least, which should mean there should be art schools available. What made you laugh? Right. Well, I mean, I guess he made an impact, but not the immediate example that I was thinking of. It's okay. At least you guys have a sense of humor about it, right? So. Yes, I mean, you can't. Yeah, you're not gonna sit there and, it's like Germany. I don't think they have a particular sense of humor about it, but they certainly make an effort to remember these things. It's part of their education and stuff like that. Yeah, and you certainly Germans do have a darker sense of humor. You know, about I think life in general. But I'm okay with that because I have a pretty dark sense of humor as well too. You should see the little short that I'm working on. I don't know if I told you about it, but it's dark. It's quite dark. I mean, it's goofy, but there's darkness in there, right? Like a lot of darkness in there. Yeah, we have them too. Probably not bunch, but we have them. It's weird that you would want to be part of the losing side, but okay. Like, you do know we thoroughly whooped these fucking guys, right? Like thoroughly. In fact, like, denazification was so successful that we might have overcorrected too much, right? Like, it's one of those things. It's such a strange thing for it to still exist. Like we're I guess but 100 years we're around 100 years since the formation or the movement began in Germany. But it's such a strange thing that people, like, there is a portion, very, very small portion of our population around the world that still celebrates that idea. And it's like, you guys don't read history books? Like, they lost astoundingly. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because, I'm assuming I just, like, Jesus. That's, jeez. Yeah, I've never had any personal run-ins or experiences with these people outside of from a distance. I've seen them. But yeah, no, we don't. I get in North Americans, we really don't have a lot of tolerance for these people in any shape, size, or form. Like, we don't really give them social currency in any way. Like, if you wear that symbol openly here, there's a likeliness that someone will come over and just beat you up. Like, it will hurt you. And if other people see that symbol, it's unlikely that anybody's going to step in to even call help or do anything. So, yeah, like, yeah, I mean, the people that get the ones that get punched here or beaten up, that everybody kind of just turns a blind eye, right? Like, it's one of those kind of social agreements that we have all we just like, yeah, you wear that symbol, you're asking for it, right? So, but the problem is we also, there's a Buddhist symbol that is commonly used, but it's reversed, right? So the Nazi Party originally took that symbol and flipped it, and perversed it. It's North America. I mean, it's North America wide. It's like we're very intolerant to dictatorship, monarchies, and fascism, right? Like, because we saw what happened in Europe, and we're just like, Oh, and we have a very strong anti-communist sentiment here as well too. So there's that. But yeah, it's North America. We're hemmed in by two giant oceans, and what people don't also forget is there's actually over 20 countries in North America. People just think of United States, Canada, and people also think that Mexico is part of South America. It's not. They think it's part of quote unquote Central America. It's not. It's part of North America. Yes, so North America is basically, I think it's 24. There's 24 countries in North America. So there's Canada, the United States, Mexico, and then you have all the island places: Trinidad, Tobago, Costa Rica, Haiti. I guess I don't even know them all. The Bahamas, Dominican Republic. People are like, oh, that's South America. That's not South America, guys. That's North America. Yes, I want to know what you said. What did your animation supervisor say? Just animate. Well, it's not terrible advice. I feel like it's just incomplete, right? Like, you could probably dig a little bit harder. Yeah, he's not wrong. Or they're not wrong. I don't know. It's you gotta animate with focus, right? And focus and reference. If you want to get better, shoot reference, shoot reference, shoot reference. It is the difference maker. It is the difference maker between really, really great animators and good animators, right? If you want to get up from good to great, shoot reference, right? And learn how to read that reference. Like I said, the hands and feet thing, I wouldn't have been able to kind of round out my education of animation without shooting reference. Reference is the most important thing. For some people, it initially feels like stealing, but I promise you it's not. Like I said, you have to learn how to interpret what you're seeing. And the only way to do that is to actually shoot the reference and then go through the process of trying to understand what it is that you're actually trying to communicate. Well, what is it that you want to do right now? Let's see if I can at least steer you fire an arrow in a direction for you to at least look at and see if it's worth your exploration. Are you trying to do dialogue, acting, action, body mechanics? You said you want to do hand stuff, like your hand exercises. Yeah. So if you want to do hand exercise, like again, just think of the whole hand as a shape. You want to think of bodies as shapes, right? The whole thing should be thought of as shapes, but trying to use reference that you shoot, get up in front of your, I will give animators, young animators, crap for this, right? Because you guys really, or not you guys, sorry, I didn't mean to lump you into young, but I'm talking about like fresh out of school animators. When I say you guys, I'm referring to fresh out of school animators. These guys, they use their phones for everything, right? But I'm just like, why don't you use your phone to shoot reference for your animation, right? Like, we live in such an awesome time. Every single person almost on this planet has access to a camera now. So there's no excuse for not shooting reference in my book. In case you haven't figured out, shooting reference is, like I said, I think is the most important tool for an animator to get better and get better fast. You get used to it. You get used to it after a while. I mean, if anything, like, so what I end up doing is once you start bringing in the animation, you can kind of change the scale and change the shape and size, and you're kind of transplanting it. Eventually, once you get so analytical about it that you're not even thinking about what you're actually looking at, you're just looking at shapes and kind of using those shapes to guide you. Yeah, it's weird, I know. It took me a while to start to watch back some of my streams and some of my videos, and it was like, is that what I look like? I need a haircut. And you just get so critical, but again, you just keep doing it, and eventually you just stop. Believe it or not, you just stop giving a shit, and I think that could actually be somewhat healthy. Yeah, it's like exposure therapy, right? You kind of expose yourself to the thing that you kind of have issues with, and the more you do it, the less it seems to have impact over time, right? I don't know if it'll go away completely, because I'm always self-conscious about it. Every time I talk, every time, like when I have to listen back, that's the thing that I think I'm most self-conscious about, is the way my voice sounds when it's recorded. Because the way I hear my voice when I'm speaking, and then when I hear it back, it sounds completely different to me. Here's the other benefit is you don't have to show anybody, right? You don't never have to. This is references for you and for you only. You never have to show other people the reference that you shoot, unless you want to. It's a kind of beautiful thing about working as an artist, is you can kind of get to the creation any way you want. And you don't have to show the entire process. You just got to show the result, right? It's typically how I manage people too. I don't care how you get stuff done. Important thing is it gets done. Well, I would say get feedback. Get feedback on the animation itself, right? So because any animator, even a supervisor, should be able to look at your blocking and be able to tell you where you can improve in the block, right? Before you even actually start in betweening and start filling out the motions. Once you have your poses kind of built in, you can just show the poses. So when I animate, I wish if you want to take a look back at the YouTube, if you go back to my early, maybe not the first couple of days, but you'll see the screenshot basically of this window, and you'll see how I animate is basically in stepped keys, right? So you don't actually see the movement. So here, let me actually show you right now. Actually, I can't do it right now. I'm gonna break stuff. But it's basically, it goes pop, it just pops from one pose to the next pose, right? And any supervising animator worth their salt should be able to look at your key poses and be able to tell you, here's where you're gonna do it. And then you can add breakdowns, and then you go do a pass afterwards where you do breakdowns. So you're looking at how you're changing the timing between different parts of the body, and that's just shaped language, right? So S shaping and C shaping. That's what the animators or supervising animators are looking for in the broad gestural sense, right? So if you're animating, they're looking for these shapes. And then the other versions. So reversing, so this straight line obviously reverses on itself in this straight line. But those are the shapes that we look for when you're animating. So you can see it in the body here, right? You can see the S shape, S, right? And that S shape comes everywhere. There's little signs of that S shape everywhere. Yeah, I mean, a good animator should be able to see what you're trying to do based just on your keyframes, right? The big poses that you've chosen. Most of the time, what ends up happening is, okay, that's cool. What I want you to do is to describe the motion in between. So what you're going to need is a breakdown. So you have your big poses. So let's say I'm standing here, and this is my first keyframe is me just doing nothing. Right, and then where the shot asks me to cross my arms. Right, that's it. That's all that's in the shot. So from a seated pose, and all of a sudden maybe he hears something, and then he crosses his arms. Maybe something he doesn't like. I don't know. So the point is, these are basically your two broadest keys, right? Might be the initial, huh? You react, that initial reaction, and then, right? And then so I'm able to look at that. Okay, I can refine these poses, but then you want to start breaking down that information. So you start from here, right? And then you're going to have a little antic, right? Where the little squash moment, and then you're going to be able to pop it up into that. So you're describing one step, just take it one step at a time and break it down one more step each time. And then you realize that you've broken it down so many times that you can just grab all your keys, hit that spline button, and you're 80% of the way there, right? Because you understand the process, and you've just kept breaking down those keys a little bit more and a little bit more each time, separating the timing on different things. And you're going to realize that, oh, I've basically animated it just through key poses. Safer work. I mean, you've got me curious about what exactly it is you're animating at this point, but you can share it if you want. But if you feel like sharing your animations in the Discord, feel free to do so. I have no issues. Or if you want to shoot it, if you're uncomfortable having an audience, you can always shoot it to me. I will be discreet and keep it to myself, and I will send you information. I mean, again, you don't have to send me the reference. Just send me the animation, and I'll take a look at when I have some free time. There's actually a dude on my Discord right now. There is a kid. Yeah. Don't post anything that's going to be adult content. If you feel really compelled to, you want to share it because it's an artistic thing, DM it to me. But you can see there's a kid on there, and he just started shooting reference, and his animation literally was like, you should see his, if you look at his animation before, it's an awesome little thing. Because I kept telling him, hey, go pick your favorite movie. Go grab some footage of your favorite thing, something that you enjoy watching, and try to animate that, right? Because especially when you're a really, really young animator, I think he's very young. I think he's 10, around 10 years old, maybe 11 or 12 years old, but competent enough to learn all the tools. So I imagine probably around 12. But his animation was labored, slow, and it's moving. Like, it's really clever. I know what he's trying to do, and kudos to him for doing it. But I was like, hey, here's one thing you could try to do to kind of get a better understanding, is to just go watch whatever your favorite movie is. Go grab a scene from your favorite movie. Don't take a long scene. Don't try to animate the whole movie. Just take one little moment that you really, really like and try to copy what you're seeing. But what's important is not so much like, just think about the timing first, the speed at which things are moving, right? And he posted a little thing on the disc, and his most recent thing, he actually shows the reference that he pulled from, and he shows the animation, and it is immediately better than everything he's done thus far, right? Like, I haven't actually responded to him yet because I wanted to give him some proper props for his attempt there, because it's awesome. Like, it is such a massive jump, right? From just, but there's the other thing too, Samantha. If you can't get past the being self-conscious about getting in front of a camera, and I understand completely, it's not easy. You don't have to be the one that actually gets in front of the camera, right? If you have a friend that'd be willing to do some acting for you, or you could go pull it from an archive of footage off of YouTube, right? Like, you get the world's repository of videos on YouTube that you can just kind of pull reference from there. So you've got a lot of options in terms of finding reference at the very least, right? So if you're looking for some interesting reading and some, not maybe reading literature, but check out Muybridge as well, because Muybridge was the first dude that kind of understood the mechanics or the illusion of putting one image, stacking images next to each other. So he used to film birds and horses and people and stuff like that running. Muy bridge. Let me type it up. That's where I get my notes. Oh, the survival kit is the book. It pretty much has everything you need to understand the principles of animation. The rest is just practice. It's kind of just taking specific sections of that and kind of really focusing down on the principles that they're trying to communicate, or that Richard Williams is trying to communicate. Yeah, my copy is well used. I still use it today. I still reference that book today. One of the more useless books is The Illusion of Life. It's about 20% useful, but it's just a book on history, basically. It's called The Illusion of Life. Yeah. I mean, principle, I think a lot of people are like, well, I want to do realistic animation, and it's not like, you can't, like, realistic animation, it's just this. So what Richard Williams has done is he studied life and interpreted that for animation as for a cartoon, for that cartoonish quality. So all of the references that you get in there are for cartoon, but the principles still work, right? For live action animation, because I do VFX animation, a lot of VFX animation, and all the principles still work, right? In fact, there's a degree of expectation from the audience, especially if it's not something that a creature that you're used to seeing, right? If you're animating humans, again, reference is going to be what's going to ultimately separate really great animation. But when there is some room for interpretation, then they expect there's a weird expectation of those principles to be adhered to when you're animating, even in VFX. Stylizations, yes, it can be much more forgiving because you just you your audience, the audience accepts, as long as you kind of work with, again, still within the principles of animation. There's some basic principles, like anticipation, squash, stretch, settling, overshoots, all those things. As long as you kind of can able to capture those things, the audience accepts the motion. If you're gonna actually put a realistic human being on, like if it looks like a human being, then your audience immediately wants to see it move like a human, right? So you're creating an expectation right out of the bat, just straight out of the gate. If you put a realistic looking model, person on screen, they're going to expect it. So anything that deviates from that, and because we see people moving and walking around every day, whether you're thinking about it or not, people inherently recognize when something feels off about human movement, right? There's a natural timing to things. I don't know if you've ever watched American Beauty. I think it's American Beauty. It's that silly scene where the guy watches, he catches, not silly, it's a fairly deep scene. It's where he's filming the bag just being caught in an updraft, right? When you study the movement of that bag in that scene, don't ask me why I did. Maybe I had something to smoke that night or something, but the more I looked at it, it's like, oh, that's interesting, right? Because if that bag has any more weight to it, you don't accept it, right? A bag moves in a very specific way because you know it's a bag. You create an expectation of a plastic bag being caught in an updraft, right? If the bag suddenly falls and starts bouncing, right? You just, even if you have the correct timing of a ball bounce, your brain is not going to accept that, right? So there's that weird middle ground of trying to meet the audience's expectation and still kind of stylizing what you're trying to do with the animation. As long as it has arms, legs, and a feet, there's going to be some expectation that it needs to move like a human, right? It starts to fall really awkward if suddenly he just starts somersaulting to do a basic walk. It's like, why would you spend that much energy to do that? I don't know. It's just the choices you make as an animator start to matter in terms of like, well, is that what the character would do? What kind of personality is in the walk? There's lots of decisions to be made within the animation, and certainly stylization gives you some leeway in terms of like what the audience accepts. But you go watch any superhero movie now, right? And the audience is willing to accept a lot as long as the motion feels correct, as long as the timing feels right and the poses don't feel unnatural. But like, we can get Superman to fly reasonably convincing now. That's one of the more difficult things to do, right? But the second you lift a human being in VFX off the ground, right, everything starts to break down. Getting a character to fly, it's very difficult, right? Because we don't understand. There's no physics that we can intuit in flight, in human flight. If a human were just to jump and start flying, right? It's that question that it should confuse you. Like, okay, well, if Superman can fly, we all agree that Superman can fly, right? Not, he doesn't just, that the canon says he can fly now. He can't just jump over tall buildings. So if that's the case, Superman can fly. What muscle does he exert to fly faster? Oh, go watch American Beauty if you haven't watched American Beauty. It's a fantastic movie. Do you know Rainbow Six Siege? Yes, I do know Rainbow Six Siege. I thought it's always a funny question. How does Superman? What muscle does Superman use to fly faster? Well, I'm sure you could find a ton of footage of like a SWAT team or something, militarized person going into something and rescuing somebody. I mean, that's kind of like a pretty strong staple of American movies. Definitely, you could be able to find some reference for that. It's not beyond the realm of being able to do something like that. There you go. You've already got the props for it. I mean, realistically, you can use anything, right? Having airsoft guns is actually is good because it gives you a visual. I don't know if airsoft guns actually how they weigh, what the weight of an airsoft gun is like compared to a real gun. But that's one thing you want to check on, because guns have weight, right? And you want to make sure that if you're animating somebody walking around with a gun, it's not just stuck to them, like it's not just glued and pinned to a specific position. Yeah, if it's a pretty accurate one in terms of weight as well too, that's really helpful for animation, just because you'll see you'll be able to record little nuances and of how your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders and your kind of upper torso adjusts for that weight. Oh, okay. So if they feel like it could be like real guns, that's great. That's But if not, I was gonna say, if not, just grab, just grab some wood or something like that. If you don't have, obviously it's cool that you have access to guns, but if you don't have access to guns or airsoft guns, you can basically like get a piece of wood and just weigh it down with some, I don't know, just find something. You can use anything that has weight. I guess you can kind of sneak it inside and build around it or something like that. Sand, water, I don't know, little water bottles or containers or something like that you can hide it somewhere. But you want it's the sense of weight. That's the big one. What I find is lacking in a lot of animation, especially if you're going to do it by hand, animate by keyframe animation. The sense of weight is really, really important. Ah, there you go. So you'll have more experience with the understanding of the weight of a gun than I will. Far more experience if you've had military training. I've only ever shot in a shooting range, so I've never actually had to march with a gun. I've never had to feel the fatigue of of holding a position for several hours or something. I go in, I shoot the gun a bunch of times, and then I go home. Yeah, you'll get a real strong understanding of how weight feels when you're doing combat training with actual weapons and gear and in a full rig. I can only imagine. Which is why I would rely on reference. I've always been kind of curious in that kind of training. And beyond the implication of what it's for, I've always been kind of curious to see what my limits would look like. That's not what I wanted. Wish we didn't have a need for military. Yeah. Yeah. I think most of us feel the same way. There's only a handful of people on the planet that actually make us require one, right? So. Nah, I kind of like that there. Keep that. Yeah, you should totally do that. Again, you'll never find shortage of reference of military people doing their thing, or at least actors acting like military people doing their thing. Yeah, there's tons of footage. And the nice thing is, if you really don't want to get in front of a camera, I'm sure you could just probably pull something up on YouTube. All right, so the technique that I sometimes use if I'm not going to shoot reference for it, like, for example, like, I can't do kung fu moves like, like Jet Li or Jackie Chan or something like that, or I don't know who's popular right now. Anyways, the point is, it's okay, right? That's it. Even if it's not, it's okay. It's your job, because your job as an animator is to interpret. It's not to steal it or to use that as a one-to-one reference, right? Your job is to interpret the footage. So it really doesn't matter who the subject of that footage is. You just you're just taking it's like all you're doing is taking the movement, right? No problem, Samantha. If you're feeling tired, head to bed. Tomorrow's another day to give it another shot. So we'll be starting the animation tomorrow. Yeah, don't be afraid. Just jump right into it, right? Like, even if it doesn't turn out the way, you can always try again, right? Again, you don't have to show anybody that you don't want to show. But if you want some feedback on it, anything that you work on, please feel free to shoot a DM to me. Especially if it's going to be not safe for work stuff. Don't post it into the channel. I don't want poor Keelix's mom yelling at me. Yeah, I don't think I want children seeing that stuff either. Let me be only the reason is because somebody's mother will come and give me crap for it. No, I'm kidding. Don't post anything that's inappropriate for kids. Again, feel free to DM me. You know, as long as it's something that's, you know, that it's clearly an artistic pursuit, I have no problems looking at it. Some people have a bit of difficulty understanding the difference between somebody creating art and somebody creating something that might appear, I don't know what the word for it is. All I know, like, I'm working on a short film right now that is incredibly violent, right? It's very, very, very violent. Like God of War, evisceration and decapitation, kind of gory. And that's why I was saying, yeah, there's some darkness there, right? Clearly trying to resolve some issues here. But it's not gore for gore's sake. I mean, in to some degree it is, but at the same time, there's a kind of a purpose to it all, right? So. Yes, I think you told me you're along the more risque. Is that the appropriate word? Risque? Do send me some snippets. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll be posting stuff on the Discord as well too. It's nothing that, again, it's I don't think I'll be sharing any. Like, you'll see it when it's done, because it's going to be a short film that's probably going to be, I don't know, 45 seconds to a minute. Yeah, I mean, it's because it's a bit of a gag too, so I don't want to. Some showmanship is necessary for the short to land the joke properly. So it's important that I don't reveal too much, but I'm happy to reveal some of the characters and certainly some of the test animations that I'll be doing to chop off limbs and stuff like that. So I'm working on a modular rig right now that I can make cuts to and stuff, so that we can chop off a limb and send it flying into space or whatever. I can decapitation. One thing I'm trying to work on right now is physics simulation for, like, you know, like if he cuts like his belly, and this sounds super gross, but if he cuts his belly, like I want like the entrails to spill out, right? So that might be that's a big ask. That might be a bit much for what I'm trying to do, so I might just stick to very, very heavy blood effects. But to eviscerate and to have, like, you know, organs spilling out, that's, like I said, God of War type stuff, right? Like, that's the kind of style I'm looking to do. So I don't know. It's a test to see how long it takes. So I'm testing it all out to see how long it takes. But if it takes too long, obviously, because what I would ultimately like to do is convert it into a web series. And Web series is about efficiency too, so I need to think about the efficiency with which I am able to animate and get things done. An add-on is a Blender add-on. Simply tear. That might be useful for you. What is that? To tear cloth and stuff like that? To make cuts? Are they animatable? Yeah, because the way I'm working on it right now is super technical, right? Like I have to make the cut in the geometry, and then I have to make sure those vertex weights match across the entire thing. Otherwise, any rotation, any deformation that doesn't match will cause a tear. Will cause a split in the geometry. So basically, then I have to be able to make the cut there, match that vertex weight, have a switch that is able to separate the arm, and then turn on additional geometry underneath so that we're not just looking through a hole. So it's gonna be like a cartoony bowl, you know, like the old Looney Tunes, old Warner Brothers cartoons where you see like a steak or something like that, and it's got the one perfectly circular bone in there. That's basically what I'm trying to do. It's gonna be super cartoony. Yeah, so I'm actually not using any sort of fabric or cloth simulation. I'm using liquid simulation for sure, because there's gonna be lots of blood. But the cut itself is actually gonna be completely animated by hand. Because there's gonna be very specific things that need to happen. Very specific acting moments that need to happen when some characters get cut or lose a limb. Yeah. It's not to say they can't control that in using physics. It's just that it's an added layer of complexity that I don't need, right? Because I can just animate. I can kind of just muscle my way through it with animation. Yeah, I would rather just animate it by hand. Nexus. I'll have to take a look at all these things. I will keep a log of everything you're telling me. Simply tear and Nexus. So is Nexus like using, is it like a plugin that allows you more intuitive control over the native physics engine inside inside Blender? I gotta be honest, I haven't played with too much of the fluid stuff yet, just because I've been thinking more technically about how to cut this rig into ribbons so that I can rip off pieces and cut pieces off and do whatever I want to do with it. Ooh, that's ugly. Rotate one. Yeah, I'll definitely check out the Nexus add-on. Ah, yes, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, it sounds pretty cool. I gotta check out Nexus. Anything to make my life a little bit easier in terms of getting that stuff set up would be very helpful right now. So. Huh. Yeah, then I'll have to check it out. I mean, I prefer free tools right now, but you know, can't get around spending some money, so you know, it all depends on the pricing and whether it fits the budget for what I'm trying to do right now. Yeah, it's part of the reason I'm. That's the only reason I'm choosing. That's part of the reason. I really like Blender. I really like working in Blender. I actually prefer it over Maya, in spite of the fact that like after 20 years of using Maya, it becomes muscle memory to me. But I'm quite happy to relinquish that muscle memory for a piece of software that is free and works just as well. At least for my purposes. Okay, I've been at it for 2 hours. I'm going to take a short break. Samantha, if you're not here when I get back, I hope you have a great night. I will be back in about 5 minutes. I just need to take a short one. Okay. Where are we here? Awesome. It was a lovely short break. I didn't want to take too long of a break because I gotta take the dog for a walk in about 50 minutes. So try to wrap this at least this piece of this little piece of animation, and then I'll probably animate the other ones I got one more to do after this, and I'll probably animate it off stream in the evening tonight. Well, I'm glad you're still here. I mean, because I've been meaning to shift my time, and I feel bad because when I originally started streaming, I started streaming around like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my time, my local time. And, a couple people started showing up, and those who did started showing up regularly. And I feel bad that I've been pushing my time a little bit later just because I'm trying to get into the better habit of making it coincide with what my work schedule is actually going to look like. So streaming at 2 o'clock in the afternoon is obviously out of the question once I'm back to work. So I'm just trying to push it a little bit later. And I feel bad for those who did kind of join when I first started, because I won't be able to kind of keep that schedule. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Unfortunately, seems that everybody that joined my stream was on the other side of the planet. So, I had one dude that came in and gave me lots of great ideas for it. So hopefully, I'm gonna make a YouTube video specifically. I'm gonna try to do more videos. So I think one of the first kind of tutorial, I'm gonna do some tutorial videos as well as some character kind of workflow creation process videos. I have several characters actually. I just never edited the footage and did the narration. I need to do that. But yeah, I want to try to be a little more active posting videos versus live streaming, because I think that's where I can balance out the schedule a little bit, because live streaming will become a little bit more hectic once I'm back to work. So I'm actually not out of a job. Technically, I'm just laid off right now. I'm scheduled to go back in September. Um, that's why I'm not like freaking out, trying to go rapidly. Like the job that you're referring me to, I would have jumped at it had I like if I was completely out of a job, then I would be. I mean, there's always the possibility that like, yeah, we don't have any work this year. We can't solidify or lock in the work, and we're gonna push it further. But you know, I have a little bit of money saved, so I'm okay. Once I have a firm, I think September is the latest. I'm gonna push it until I'm like, okay, it's time to start actually looking for something else now. But it's the entire industry right now, right? Or the film industry, at least, is not. And I know the game industry is not doing that well either in terms of like studio work. So. Where's that coming from? There it is. Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing okay for now. I should be fine. It's not the first time this has happened. You get used to it after a while. It's the part of the contract business of working in film. So if I ever had any reasonable advice for people who want to get into the film industry, is save your money. Can't tell you much about the art. There it is. Oops. Yeah, so was I for a long time, for a very long time. I don't know if I was particularly bad at saving money or if it was just that I wasn't making very much money. So probably a combination of both, let's be honest. How do I fix this? Can't find here. Huh, I wouldn't know where to find those specific models, but I bet you could kind of kit bash it together. The pieces are generic enough that I think you can, I mean, the face and stuff like that, the head model, you'll have to probably either model or sculpt on your own if you don't have access to it right away. But I imagine you can probably kind of kit bash it from different sources. Just find all the pieces that you want. They might not necessarily fit. You might have to tweak them a little bit, but you could probably find enough assets that you could cobble together that's something that looks like her. Yeah, they're probably not going to release that. Well, they might. I don't know. Somebody's probably made a model that you can probably get for free on the internet. But yeah, when it comes to like characters that already exist, it's either you're gonna have to kind of do it on, like, rebuild it on your own, or unless they release their assets somewhere. Yeah, I mean, you can always do like an homage. You can kind of make the character kind of look like it. I mean, I don't know how if Ubisoft scrapes YouTube and stuff like that, but I know like Nintendo, if they don't like your model or what you've done with it, they will copyright strike you. So which is unfortunate because there was a couple of models that I did that were Nintendo characters, and I haven't done anything bad, or I didn't even like over sexualized or anything like that. So it was one of those, I don't know if I want to test the waters. Oh yeah, yeah. No, they guard their copyright like crazy. Like they're almost insane about it. Because yeah, it's strange that they would. I understand why they do it because they're based. Nintendo is the video game version of Disney, basically, right? So they're it's the same thing with Disney. Will DMCA hit you and copyright strike your channel if you do stuff with their characters that they don't like? Otherwise, they're happy to do it, but it's got to be their approval, right? So. La Rob, dude. Second month in a row, man. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Hey, Gavin, how's it going, dude? Yeah, dude. It's Auto Rig Pro. I did the rig in Auto Rig Pro, and it's been awesome. There's a few quirks in Blender that I don't like because of the way they've parented down the legs, but yeah, it's Auto Rig Pro. Sorry, Gavin, if I missed your. If it's been a while since you messaged. Yeah, Rob, it's animation time again. Hopefully, I'll be here at least today. I'm gonna finish one more piece off stream, jump back, implement all the animation into Unreal, and then I'm going to kind of get back into animation again. My brother and I have to sit and have a long discussion about what this actual game is gonna start looking like. Because like I said, we've been building systems. We know the direction we want to go. So we've built all the systems. But I was talking to Samantha earlier that we might do like a zombie kind of survival thing, but kind of set in a medieval universe. So. Yeah. Overwatch has been yeah. I'm trying to think of something nice to say about it right now. I really love the shorts, the animations they did and the story and the world building that they did. Unfortunately, I think they forgot it's supposed to be a game. It's a video game. And that's what they should be selling to people as a video game. Yeah, I loved that's the kind of I love that kind of animation. Super stylized, really action oriented. Superhero stuff, right? I enjoy stuff like that. And I really like the story building, and the world building. Unfortunately, the game is where where that product is falling a little bit short, which is kind of crappy because it's a video game they're trying to sell, not a movie or a short film or anything like that. I mean, they could totally convert Overwatch into a film. Hey Zam, how's it going? I'm just doing some animating today. What are you up to? Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends has some of the coolest animation. I love the stuff for Raid Shadow Legends, the visual stuff. I have never played the game myself. I'm just not a I guess because it's primarily mobile. It's a mobile game. I'm a PC gamer. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back on the grindstone, the animation grindstone. Honestly, I think I'm gonna start gearing the channel a little bit. I streamed Unreal, the whole Unreal process for what, 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks, and I'm just not as proficient in Unreal. I'm sure it's not to say that other streamers out there can't do a great job with it. It's just that I end up spending a lot of time hemming and hawing, going through tutorials, and I swear Gemini is gaslighting me. So you can hear my keyboard as I get more and more frustrated. I start slamming the keyboard and start typing more vigorously when I'm getting angry with Gemini. So it's just nice because I can chat with I can interact with you guys, and I can still do the work, and I'm still getting shit done. So I think I'm gonna lean more towards the artistic side of the game development stuff. I mean, if my brother wants to start streaming, I will definitely like kind of promote that. And if you guys want to see the coding side of it, maybe if he decides to start streaming, I can send you guys that way. But yeah, I think because I'm at least competent, that's the word I'm looking for. I'm at least competent at animating, and working with Blender, so it doesn't feel so, I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of dead air when I'm working in Unreal, because I need to spend a lot of time thinking about what I'm doing, and I'm just not very proficient at it yet. So yeah, it's just you get feedback. Check this.
In this world, I've died 1,000 deaths. But each one made me stronger, better. And when the time was right, I sacrificed the old Alice so I could be reborn. As for my captor, poor thing. Imagine building the perfect cage, only to find yourself locked in it with me. If I'm bound to stay here until the end of time, I better make myself comfortable.
Download Raid and get the legendary Alice for free.
Cool. Yeah, the animation is so dope, especially the I don't know, is that the Mad Hatter? I guess that's supposed to be the Mad Hatter. Oh, that looks so badass. Wish I could. I wish YouTube let me frame by frame. Definitely the Mad Hatter. That's great. I love how the creepiness of the design of the Mad Hatter. That's a really, really cool way to conceive him, or to think of him. Almost like the Joker. Oh, you can do it for hit period and comma. Okay, I will remember that next time. The only reason, so the reason I'm doing it with the on a Cintiq right now, because typically I'll model and sculpt and stuff like that, but the reason a very specific reason that I'm doing it is because I still use Maya professionally, and what I have been noticing is I have a very big problem with muscle memories and separating muscle memory from Maya and Blender. So in order for me to use Blender, so basically I've grown accustomed to operating in Blender with a Cintiq and my screen tablet. And so my muscle memory is different, right? Because I'm physically positioned different. Versus if I'm using a mouse and a keyboard and I'm positioned like that, my muscle memory just naturally starts going towards my Maya hotkeys. And in order to kind of break that connection, I decided, okay, I'm just going to use Blender with the Cintiq. Yeah. Yes, Samantha, you can technically switch the keys. Yes, I was gonna say, but I would advise against it because it makes it a lot more difficult to learn Blender, because most of the tutorials out there are gonna give you the hotkeys to get to the tools that you want to use, yeah, like I said, when you've been doing something for 20 years and you've been doing it, I pretty much had my hotkeys set up by probably about the 5th year I was using Maya, and I haven't really changed them since. Very minor tweaks to my control setup, but the problem was so what you have it ingrained into your kind of muscle memory. I'm constantly, the way I animate, I gotta be honest, is completely different than the way I animate in Maya. In Maya, it sounds like if you're just listening to it, it sounds like I'm playing a video game, because I move so quickly in Maya that because just again, it's all second nature. I'm not even thinking about hotkeys anymore. It's just that's where my fingers need to be when I'm doing certain things, and that's how I work. In Blender, I'm still thinking about it. I still have to look down at my keyboard and, okay, that's what I want to do, right? So, but I'm slowly getting there. I'm slowly starting to get to the point where I actually want to start putting in my own hotkeys. I do have some minor ones right now, like my graph editor and my action editor are bound to different keys. So I can quickly access those now. Dropping in hotkeys or keyframes is another one. And then I want to be able to navigate and scrub or at least pick walkthrough frames off keyboard shortcuts that don't require me to leap across the entire keyboard and use the arrow keys. Yeah. Yes, the quick menu. I use the quick menu all the time. The quick favorites is the if I were to advise somebody who is transitioning from Maya to Blender, that is the tool of transition, right? Especially if you're really used to working really quickly in Maya, the quick favorites will help bridge that gap significantly. But the more I use Blender, the more I want to lean towards the hotkeys and less the quick favorites. But I still use quick favorites like crazy, especially when I'm sculpting and modeling. Not so much when I'm animating, because there's not a whole lot of tools inside there that I'll use, except, there's a couple of them where I'll reset the rotation, reset rotations and stuff like that. Viewport, play blasting, that kind of stuff. Yes, I do. I use the pie menu all the time to switch modes. Yeah, so I mean, Maya has a very similar system with this kind of pop-up pie menus, but I didn't use them very much in Maya. Once I kind of set my hotkeys, again, I only used about 20% of the software, right? I used it almost exclusively to animate. I never did anything. Almost did nothing else in Maya besides animate. A little bit of modeling every now and then. A little bit of rigging every now and then, but for the most part, it was just animation. So. Yeah, Zam, hopefully that answers your question, but most people I know use the mouse and keyboard. The only reason I do it is just to separate the muscle memory, because I was having a very difficult time transitioning into Blender. So I figured the easiest way to do it is to physically use it differently. Really? You like the Samantha, the retop? You like to do is retop in Maya more than Blender? That's where everybody was like, this is where Blender excels, is the native tools built into. I know they've upgraded they have made them a lot better, because I think Blender was threatening them more, because the tools in Blender are fantastic. They're amazing. Yeah, I have had zero issues with texture, or at least UV unwrapping and retops in Blender. Huh. didn't know you liked Maya better. I guess there's a case for everybody. I mean, I personally found that I have been really enjoying the modeling, all of the processes in Blender. Blender reminds me a lot more of 3ds Max than Maya, which was another pain point for me, because I did not like using 3ds Max. It was my least favorite software package to work in 3D with. Largely because early back in the day, 3ds Max was basically a platform for plugins, right? And then at some point they amalgamated all that stuff. Character Studio was then packaged with 3ds Max. But basically, you bought 3ds Max back in the day so you could buy more plugins, and that just pissed me off. So I just avoided 3ds Max for most of my career. There was a couple of jobs I was forced to use it, and I reluctantly did so. But if I can avoid using 3ds Max, I will. I do not like the way I interface with the program. For whatever reason, I took to Blender more than I took to 3ds Max. As I think, you know, Blender is kind of like that almost exact midpoint between Maya and Blender, or Maya and 3ds Max. Migtunes, what's up, dude? How you doing? Yeah, Blender's top review tools are not that great, but they did improve them recently. They did. I mean, there are some add-ons and some plugins you can get that are free, like the F2. If you don't, you got to initiate the F2 plugin. If you're gonna do modeling, it is. And then texturing, you want to make sure you activate the I guess it's the active nodes, or Samantha, it's strange that you think that, because not strange, but because most people that I talk to say that they prefer Blender modeling tools. But yeah, I guess everybody has their own thing. I mean, I think Maya's really nice is because you feel the separation less between the different modes of operating inside Maya. So you just kind of go, you want to edit verts, you kind of just go edit verts, and then you're into the edit vertices thing. Whereas this one, you got to go into your edit mode, right? And then you got to choose which kind of edit you want to do. So I get that everybody has their own little thing. For me, and from what I read from people's reviews of Blender, they prefer doing retops in Blender. But I mean, it makes perfect sense that you would prefer Maya, just because if you've done it before, and like I said, it feels less. You feel those modes a lot less, where they don't shy away from that stuff in Blender. It's right there. That's fair. Yes, Migtunes, Blender is amazing. A free tool that has this kind of this ability to do this much stuff is. I mean, I know Blender's been around even since when I was in high school. So it's been around since the late 90s, since the 90s. I remember seeing the videos for Big Buck Bunny and stuff like that. But back then, I guess. You know, I fancied, I wanted to play with the big boys, right? So, and nobody was using Blender at the time. So I explored, when I was in high school, I explored Lightwave, explored 3ds Max. I explored, back then it wasn't called Maya. I think it was called Alias Wavefront. Migtunes, I think a lot of people would agree with you in that sense. I mean, we do it for layout and it's obviously it's got a fairly decent renderer, but I mean that engine is. I don't even think we used. We didn't use mental arrays. We used Redshift. Yeah, we used Redshift at when I worked on the Expanse and I don't know what engine they're rendering with it. at the company I'm currently at, the studio I'm currently at. Oh, yes, Softimage. Yes, I used Softimage for a bit. What did I use Softimage on? I can't remember. It was an old project. I've used Houdini. I've used Softimage. I've touched all of the packages at this point. I am not too familiar with either Houdini or Softimage at this point because it was over a decade ago that I used either. So. MIGToons, I have been animating for, I guess, professionally. I've been animating for about 20 years now. I mean, obviously not including layoffs. But yes, I've been fairly active for the last 20 years in animating. Oh, maybe a year or two off in totality for layoffs. But yeah, it's... yeah, I've been working professionally for about 20 years now. Don't like the way that sword recovers. Need to fix that. It's like wobbling. Big Tunes, thanks for the follow, dude. Appreciate it. Oh, nice. You've been doing it 12 years. What kind of work are you doing right now? Are you in tunes? I mean, I'm kind of guessing by your name, but do you do VFX or tune animation? Yeah, and at least one of them is employed. Apparently. It is slim pickings out there right now. Animation work is tough to come by right now. The business, the industry is in a bit of a recovery mode right now, so there's the wobble. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, I'm slowly trying to I'm slowly migrating over to games as well. Yeah, so have you found that I mean, I guess has that been your experience as well, that the industry's kind of in a bit of a lull right now as far as work is concerned? So it sounds like you've had to diversify a little bit, not too much. But yeah, I've worked on through TV series, series work, VFX work, feature work, commercial work, you name it. Dude, you gotta feel free to post your channel, or if you want. I don't know if you putting work up on YouTube or anything like that, but I'd love to take a look at it if you got to post it somewhere. little bit better. How's that spacing? Popping the spacing. There it is. Sorry, Samantha, I don't have a bot set up yet. Yeah, I hear you, McTunes. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I'm technically just laid off right now. I'm just waiting for September to come back so I can get back to work. But in the meantime, rather than sitting there and waiting, my brother and I decided to make a video game. We've decided to. I've just been trying to use. So I'm hoping that the stuff that I do with the video game, I can use to build up my demo reel for gameplay animation. Or potentially, I mean, I have some stuff that I can include into the work, obviously for cinematics, because I've been working in VFX and film for the last little while. It's slightly different. I know it's slightly different, but you know, it's usable, and I can demonstrate that I can implement an animation into Unreal as well too, and I can, you know, do stuff in Unreal. I'm becoming more and more familiar with Unreal, albeit still quite novice at the tool, but the knowledge is growing. Holy moly, guys, I am working way past what I expected to be working today. Samantha, thank you so much. Yes, MegTunes, if you feel free to post any work or anything like that. I got a Discord where you can share stuff and share your artwork. I would love to see what you're doing, dude. Do you mind if I ask what shows you've worked on? You said 3D series. Yeah, 3D TV series. Which series did you work on? Was it kids shows, like preschool, or did you get to work on something cool? I'll give it 10 more minutes and then I gotta take the dog for a walk. Samantha, that reminds me, I'm gonna have to. I should set up a bot. I try to do some like stream maintenance on the weekends. I just don't know. I mean, I guess you don't know until you know. But so now that I know, I should probably set up a bot for that kind of stuff. Oh, dude, you got to work on cool shit. Nice. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That's probably helped you kind of move it. That would probably definitely help you segue into like cinematic gaming because it's more action oriented, right? So that's cool, dude. What was the last TV series that I worked on? Oh, well, I mean, I worked on like visual effects series, like The Boys and stuff like that. But Yeah, that's a great show. Young Jedi is a fun newer show, and I think it's great. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, my experience on TV series has been, dude, you got to work on some cool projects. The projects that I worked on, well, Toronto Animation in Toronto, we get a lot of preschool shows. So I did a lot of preschool animation. I mean, they're big popular shows, so that's cool. Not exactly within the realm of what I wanted to animate, but it's work, right? So I worked on like Backyardigans. What else did I work on? I directed a series, a kids series called. I was the animation director on a show called Dino Dana and Androids. Yeah, the preschool shows are. Yeah, preschool shows are fun just because you can bang out work. But I mean, subject matter wise, you know, I'm not watching these shows after I'm done working on them. Let's put it that way. I mean, to be fair, to be honest, and that's not a knock to preschool shows. I don't watch most of the things that I work on, so. And I'll work on some big projects too. But like, I worked on The Boys for 2 seasons, and I stopped watching it when I started working on it. So I don't know. Yeah, the only time I ever watched my own stuff, especially when I did preschool stuff, is when my niece and my nephew watched the show. And I didn't even watch it with, like, I didn't technically watch the show. I was watching them to see if my jokes and my gags worked. Because I've seen the episode 1,000 times. When you direct the episode, you watch every piece of animation over and over and over and over and over again. So I had no interest in actually seeing the episode. What I was interested in seeing was, did I achieve the things I wanted to achieve as the director? Did these kids understand the joke, right? Like I would craft a visual joke in there. And the hope is that if I got a chuckle, you know, it's like, yes. It's a really cool feeling to watch people watch what your animation, and then if you're shooting for the laugh and you get the laugh, immensely satisfying, right? Or if you have that, if you're animating something cool, then they have that, that was dope, kind of like they get that energy that transferring from the animation to them. I love those moments. So I don't really watch the work I do per se. I watch people's reactions to my work, and sometimes I gotta be honest, I would say, I think all in all, in the totality of my career, I've missed more than I've hit, but my hits are becoming more consistent now, 20 years later. Yes, Samantha. I worked on The Expanse as well too. Yes. Okay, I'm just gonna do the shoulder here a little bit. Give the shoulder a little bit of pull as he settles. How often do I stream? I've been trying to stream every day. Samantha, our group of the coolest freaking thing. I'm glad you like it so much, Samantha. It was a really fun show to work on. Actually, there were some really, really cool shots that I didn't put into my demo reel. That is because it was a collaborative. It was more of a collaborative effort on the shot. So I kept it out of the reel just because I don't want people mistaking somebody else's work for my work or that kind of stuff, right? So, it has been certainly one of the more rewarding projects, simply because I know the showrunner really liked the work that I was doing on it, and I'm a personal fan of the show. The only time in my career thus far that I did watch the rest of all of The Expanse, even the stuff that I worked on. Yeah, MigTunes, I do try to stream every single day. It's been hit and miss for the... I've been missing like one day a week or every now and then just to run errands and stuff like that, because then my weekends get busy. If I'm trying to just to stream all... Like if I'm streaming every day, then I kind of push everything to the weekend. And if I get busy on the weekends, the balance has got to come from somewhere. But I have been trying to stream every single day, not because I'm trying to specifically grow. It's just trying to develop the habit of sitting in front of a camera and talking and doing the work. You can see like my productivity kind of declines a little bit as I get more chatty, obviously. I get shit done still, at least. So, and I enjoyed. Samantha has been awesome coming in. She gave me a beta key for again. Like everybody who has come in and chatted with me, it's not a distraction at all. I don't want people to think I'm distracted. The whole point of me streaming is because I want to engage with other people while I'm working. So it just means I just won't be as efficient when I'm working, but it does mean that I will have to do some stuff off stream just to kind of get the ball to move quicker, which is not a problem, right? Because the whole point is to build community, build friendships and community, and just to meet people. So. Yeah, my biggest thing right now is I'm still trying to balance out all the stuff that is required in streaming, like trying to pay attention to all the notifications and the chats, and I don't know if I've missed a follower or subscribed today. I really apologize if I did miss one. I'm really sorry. I'm new to this. I will find some way to make it up to you guys. Most challenging thing in my career so far, overall. That's a good question. So when I started directing, and just being, I think that was the biggest challenge for me, is taking on leadership responsibilities. My nature is a bit of a hard ass, because I'm hard on myself, and that's not typically appropriate to project onto others. So that was one of the most difficult transitions in going from just the guy working to the guy now telling people what to do. That took a little bit of time for me to make that adjustment. Like I said, and it's mostly because my tone sometimes comes off as very demanding. And I think people who know me, I'm not trying to be a jerk or trying to do, it's just that I'm very, like, I don't like to beat around the bush. You know, there's in the professional, I don't know where you're from, if you're from, oh, it sounds like you're from the US. But it's a very North American thing to do the sandwich compliment, to a compliment sandwich. You package your criticism in a compliment sandwich, right? So you say something nice, you give them the criticism, and then you say something nice again, right? Which means I have to do two of these things that to communicate something to somebody that is completely unnecessary, right? And that just, it drives me nuts. I'm just like, guys, I don't dislike you. You know that when I'm criticizing this specific thing, it's not because I don't need to blow smoke up your ass and tell you how great you are at these things. You already know that you're great at these things. Otherwise, I would have picked those things out and told you to fix them, right? Like, so it's just for the sake of efficiency. It's like, for me, I don't mind if my director is a little bit more frank, right? It just says, hey, I need this done. That just because he's criticized this one aspect of my animation, it doesn't mean he thinks I'm a shitty animator. He just needs to communicate this one thing and then and he's got to move on to the next thing, right? Or she's got to move on to the next thing. And so it's just sometimes it's that walk on eggshells placate placate kind of attitude is that's what really bothered. That was where I had a lot of difficulty transitioning, right? Because I just say what's on my mind, right? And I don't pat it, and I don't beat around the bush, and I don't sandwich it into to try to soften it. Hey, I just say, hey, can you fix that thing? And I'll add my pleases, please, but I guess the tone in which I communicate sometimes can be a little sharp. So it was a complaint that I got a couple of times, like, oh, it seems like Curtis, he's a jerk, and he's being he's not being nice. Or I don't know. I don't know what the exact complaint was, but it was concerning the way I was communicating how to do things. And so I was instructed that, you should try to, if you're going to criticize somebody's work, you should put it into a sandwich, into a compliment sandwich. Just like, this is ridiculous, guys. Like, you're artists. You need to get it. You need to get alligator skin, right? Like you need crocodile skin to kind of make it as an artist, because if at a certain point, people just flat out tell you that they think you suck, right? My first boss that I ever worked with, he basically stood over me. He loomed over standing like right behind me. I could hear him breathing. He had his arms crossed, and he was watching me work, and he was like, Jesus Christ, didn't they teach you guys how to animate at Seneca? And I was just like, dude, you saw my demo reel. You hired me, right? Like, so yes, there's sometimes you got to deal with harshness, right? And I get why. Like, it's just when you work in the arts, you're going to deal with a lot of personalities. And yeah, it's one of those things you got to learn how to read people's personalities and how. So I got much better about catering my criticisms per animator. So if I know the animator is a great animator, a competent animator, but might be a little bit more sensitive, then I try to act accordingly, right? And yes, it's more work on my behalf, but the way I saw it was that it's easier for one person to make 20 adjustments than it is for 20 people to make one adjustment, right? Because everybody's going to be a little bit different. I can make those concessions that are necessary to communicate with people, because I need them to follow my direction, right? And whatever is necessary for me to communicate that, then I should probably take that onto myself. Instead of forcing everybody to conform to what I want to do, I was more than happy to conform to 20 different people, because I could get into that mind space, whereas I can't convince 20 people to get into my headspace, right? So. Absolutely, McTunes. It's compartmentalizing the difference between criticism and somebody actually sharing an opinion about your work, right? When you're getting feedback from clients, it's not that they think your work is bad. I mean, if they think your work is bad, they're probably just going to pull the contract, right? But the reality is just that sometimes the client doesn't know what they want, what they want until they see it. Zam, yeah, I mean, just being able to receive criticism is part of the artist's thing, right? And I know what I'm saying is I'm trying to kind of cater my response to per artist. And sometimes it's when you're working with a lot of people, I've been lucky enough that I didn't have to direct teams of like, the big broad teams of like 100 animators or something. Most of my teams, the largest team I had to direct was what? 15, maybe 20 animators tops, probably not 20, but let's say 15 animators, right? So it was a little bit easier for me to conform to them versus them trying to get them to you guys got to do it my way, right? And the reality is most of the directors that I know that come in, supervisors, that's their expectation. You come in, I come in, you guys are working my way now, right? And I'm not a believer in that. Right? Because I think everybody has something of their own that they want to bring to the table, and far be it from me to deny. I don't comment on your process, right? I want results. That's what I look for. I don't care how you get there. Okay, if you want to write an algorithm that animates shit for you, so be it. As long as it looks good and what you put on my plate and what I'm reviewing looks good, I don't care. Yeah, it's the stress. It's, you know, it's not the work, right? It's the stress of dealing with people, right? When you start working into, once you get into beyond senior, you start leading, supervisor, any management where you got to manage with people. That's where the personality juggling starts. That's the skill you got to work. It's your people skills and how you relate to people and how you work with other people. Because you're obviously good enough to animate that you can demonstrate to the people underneath you that you have a high degree of competence at what you're doing. It's just now, can I use that competence, and can I get others to kind of get up, raise the level of the work, right? Find a work that's gonna find a level of work that is going to wow the clients, wow everybody, and get everybody kind of involved and excited to watch the show and do the work. That's the tough, keeping people motivated, and then obviously settling issues between other people, because you're working with people and you're going to have arguments and there's going to be friction. And so finding ways to solve problems, interpersonal problems between people. That's really the largest part of management, is just figuring out how to work with other people, how to communicate with other people, how to communicate as a team, how to communicate large chunks of things, like broad, vision, and keep that vision cohesive through each animator. These are the things that I think were the most challenging parts of my career. So much so that I did not feel like I was getting the value back in terms of what I was putting in as a director. So I kind of took a step back as a director, because at the end of the day, I just started feeling like I was becoming a glorified babysitter, particularly in the shows that we're working in, these productions, right? Because these aren't like these big AAA millions of dollar productions. They were relatively small productions. And so they had lots of people doing lots of different things. And, and as the studio starts to grow, sometimes things change. And then, politics inside of a studio. And when you work in management, you cannot avoid the politics. So if you're unwilling to politic at a management level, you're probably going to hit a ceiling. Just because that's the job, right? Is dealing with the politics of the office and the studio and the people that run shit. So yeah, that's where personally I want a constructive user. It's what helps me improve. I don't want people to sugarcoat my work. And yeah, I had the same kind of mentality as well too. Like, I don't mind, even if it's relatively harsh, as long as it comes with, constructive criticism. Like, if somebody comes up to me and is like, dude, your work is fucking shit, this crap, you're never going to be good at this stuff, that's easy for me to dismiss, right? Like, very easy for me to dismiss. Someone comes and, hey man, you check out this thing right here, or they'll pull up a reference and say, so the reason why this thing is not working right now in your shot is because your timing is off on this, and this, right? Take a look at this, right? And see if you can figure out what is not lining up here, or try to build it so that we can check the timing first, or, you know what I mean? Like, they'll give you a suggestion. Here's the direction. Try doing it this way. Try going this direction. If it's not, at least I've kind of moved you away from what you're doing here, because that's not right, right? Yes, there's definitely, well, I just think sometimes, like I said, it was the younger students, the kids that were just graduating college and they were coming in, and it's because they've been socialized a little bit down. I'm talking about kids, young people that are 20 years younger than me, right? And they're fresh-faced, coming right out of college. They've been socialized a little bit differently. So you can't just be blunt. Sometimes you got to be a little bit softer in your delivery. So if I'm just very sharp and say, hey, go do this, right? I need this done, and I need it by the end of the day, right? It could be just as simple as that. They kind of take it personally. Like, oh, this guy's a slave driver. It's like, no, man, like, it's just, I'm letting you know what I want, and I'm letting you know what the deadline is, right? Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk. I'm not trying to push you. I'm just saying, here's the task, here's when it's due. And I'll get, some younger people will complain to the studio owners and say, oh, he was being very this or that. Again, I don't know the specific verbiage they were using, but it had something to do with my tone. Yeah, I've no interest in breaking anybody down. My job is to say, here's the work, here's what it's expected, right? And here's where you need to fix something, right? That's really what my job is. It's not to sit there and beat you up because you didn't do a great job. I'm one of the bosses that here's the work, here's the deadline, see ya, right? I'm not gonna bug you until you have something to show me, right? I'm not gonna say anything else to you until you have something to show me or you personally come and ask me for something. Yeah, well, there's that guy too. So we had one guy, we had he was a bit of a monster when I was going through school. I didn't personally have any classes with him. Well, at least by the time I got to him, he had softened up significantly, but this guy is notorious, all names aside, because he's still quite known in the Canadian industry, maybe in the American industry. But yeah, he was a bit of a jerk. This guy would staple Burger King applications to your work. One of his favorite things to do when you had to showcase was to lay everybody's layout on the floor. So this is back in your 2D days, the hand-drawn days. So he would lay out everybody's layout, and the ones he didn't like, he would just step on, right? And the ones he would fail, he would staple Burger King applications to your thing, right? That's beyond necessary. Like, you don't need to be that kind of an asshole to let people know that they're not meeting the expectation, right? That's so far beyond. That's you're actually being cruel at that point. Yeah, that's just cruelty. Right? I do think being straight up with your students and saying this is not working, you need to go back and work a little bit harder on this. That's something a student occasionally needs to hear, right? To say, I don't think you put the effort in here that is necessary that's going to be considered at a professional level, and you need to go back and try harder. That is a reasonable criticism, right? Like, but to staple a freaking Burger King application to it, like, come on, man. Like, you're going out of your way to insult that person, and that's not necessary. Yeah, you should definitely check out some leadership stuff, because there's a lot more to it, and it's not something you get taught, right? It's something that's trial by fire. They throw you into the fire, and some people they're not necessarily bad at it. They just don't understand the process, the kind of process of getting to work and trying to learn how to work with people, right? They figure, I was hired to do this job because I'm good at this job, and their expectation is they're going to do it my way, right? And you get this attitude from a lot of people. A new person comes into the studio, especially a producer or something like that, and they want to change everything, even the stuff that's already working, right? And this is just a bad place to work. Right? You don't want to do that, right? You identify strengths, and then you work with the strengths. You keep those things working, and then you identify the weaknesses, and then you fix those, right? But you don't need to fix things that are already working. So the best thing to do when you come into a production is to have a chat with everybody. Say, okay, let's see what you guys are doing. What's good? What's not working? What do you guys have concerns about? And then you make adjustments from there. But some people come in with that kind of dictator. They hired me because I'm the best at this, and you got to do it my way because everybody said I'm the best at this. I think it's valuable that fresh start students get experience dealing with clients. Clients they can be a lot of fun sometimes, just because you're just like, I have no idea what you want. I'm just throwing spaghetti to the wall here. The funniest moments I have with clients is like they will give me 50 different revisions, and at some point I'm just like, I don't think they really understand what it is they want, so I'll go back to the first iteration, I'll make some minor changes to it, submit that one again, and then like, oh yeah, we really like that one now, right? And it's literally the first thing that I submitted to them, but they made me do it 50 other times now, right? And that's fine, right? As an animator, I'm like, hey guys, this is your money, this is your time. I bill you for every single attempt, right? So you want to do 150 revisions, that's cool, right? If it's 150 revisions of we don't like what you're doing, well, that's your problem, right? If you didn't like what I was doing, you saw my reel, you saw what I can do. If you didn't like what I can do, you can't hire this person and expect them to do something else. Right? That's one big thing that pitfall that clients fall into all the time, is that they really like your artwork, but then they hire you to make different artwork. Yeah, so Zam, I basically bill by the hour, right? So when I do freelance work, I bill by the hour. So if you're asking me to do revisions, you're paying for that, right? There is no best at this. There's only someone better. Yeah, well, I mean, there's always someone better. Yes, sorry. Yes, that's what you were. Yeah, there is always someone better. It's just, again, when you work as an artist and you work with other artists, ego and personality, it's like, it's this crazy melting pot of different personalities, right? Because all artists I found have their own little quirks and do like, I don't want to say weird, because that's not they're artists, right? They have their things. They like doing things a certain way, approaching things a certain way, and to try to deny them that is kind of taking away what they'd like to do about it. That's why I don't like to mess with people's processes. You do your art the way you do your art. All I'm saying is I want this to happen, or this is my expectation, and this is when it's due. Okay, I think I want to fix that. That rotation here. Yeah, it's not that not everybody is weird. The weird, it's just that I think artists are more willing to embrace the weird, right? Because they don't feel like they need to be judged by it or judged for it, right? Weird is part of what we are. Seeing the world in a unique way is what we're striving to do, right? It's like a comedian. They're not doing anything different. They see it in a slightly different way, in a way that you've never seen it, that you never thought to look at it, right? And that's what we're striving for. And you got to give people the freedom to do that, right? Because you don't know what they could potentially come up with if you give them that chance to do something cool like that. Okay, I have massaged this now to even if it is not working exactly the way I want, it's rough enough that I can stick it in the game and we can start fixing things later on. Okay, guys, I am almost an hour past where I wanted to do. You guys are asking great questions, and it's been some very compelling conversation here. Yeah, hour schmour. It's 9 o'clock for me, and the sun is actually gone now. Poor Ringo is he's licking my toes right now, and that's the signal for me to Big Tunes. Thank you for stopping by, Samantha. You're amazing. I appreciate you coming by every single time I'm streaming, or at least the last couple of times I've been streaming. It's been wonderful. 3 a.m. That is genuine dedication. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. It's amazing. Thank you so much for popping by. And McTunes in Vancouver. I had a suspicion you were North American, Vancouver, for sure. McTunes, please feel free to stop by. Post some work in the Discord. I really appreciate your support today. And thanks for stopping by, dude. Zam, thanks for stopping by, dude. I really appreciate you. I tried to stream every single day, guys. So, you know, if you want to come back in again, I had a great chat with you guys today. So feel free to pop back in tomorrow and distract me some more, because I love chatting with you guys. So it just makes my day a little bit more enjoyable, because I'm stuck here by myself, and the only most conversations I have is going to be with my dog, and he's not much of a conversationalist, whereas you guys are far better at reciprocating. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate y'all. Have a great night. I'll see you guys tomorrow. You guys pop by.